It isn't just about cheating or betrayal. It's about love, regret, and the painful realization that sometimes we only understand someone's true value when it's too late. This story began on a normal morning, but it ended with a letter that changed my life forever. And the truth inside that letter was something I never expected. My name is Andrew. I'm 41 years old, and if someone had asked me 2 years ago whether I loved my wife, I would have said yes without hesitation. But love can be strange. Sometimes you don't realize how much someone means to you until they're gone. My wife, Emma, and I were married for 12 years. Emma was the kind of person everyone liked. She had a quiet personality, a warm smile, and a way of making people feel comfortable around her. She worked as a school teacher, and she loved her job. Meanwhile, I worked long hours as a real estate agent. At the beginning of our marriage, everything felt perfect. We traveled, went out on weekends, and spent long evenings talking about our dreams. But as time passed, life became busy. Work became my priority. I started coming home later and later. Emma would still be awake when I walked through the door. She would always ask the same question: "How was your day?" And every time I gave the same answer: busy. Then I would sit on the couch, scroll through my phone, and eventually fall asleep. At the time, I didn't realize something important. Emma wasn't asking about my day because she wanted information. She was asking because she wanted connection. But I was too distracted to see it. Over the years, the distance between us slowly grew. Emma tried to fix it. She suggested we go on trips together. She planned date nights. She even bought tickets for a concert once because she remembered I used to love that band. But every time I had an excuse. I'm too tired. I have work tomorrow. Maybe next week. Eventually, she stopped asking. Looking back now, that was the moment our marriage began to fade. But I didn't notice. Not until it was too late. One evening, I came home earlier than usual. The house felt strangely quiet. Emma normally sat in the living room reading a book around that time, but the room was empty. I walked into the kitchen. Nothing. Then I saw something on the dining table. An envelope. My name was written on the front. I picked it up. Inside was a letter. Emma's handwriting was neat and familiar. As I began reading, my heart slowly began to sink. The letter said, "Andrew, if you're reading this, it means I finally found the courage to leave. I want you to know that I never stopped loving you, but somewhere along the way, I realized something painful. I was the only one trying to keep our marriage alive. For years, I waited for you to notice me again. I waited for you to hold my hand like you used to, but every day you seemed further away. And the hardest part is, I don't think you even realized it. This isn't about anger. It's about loneliness. I've spent the last 3 years feeling invisible in my own marriage. So today, I decided to choose myself. I hope one day you understand why. Emma." By the time I finished reading, my hands were shaking. I immediately grabbed my phone and tried calling her. No answer. I called again and again. Still nothing. For the first time in years, the house felt empty. Not quiet. Empty. Over the next few days, I tried everything to find her. I contacted her friends, her coworkers, but no one knew where she had gone. Eventually, her sister told me something that made my heart break even more. Emma had been talking about leaving for months. She just didn't think I would notice. And the painful truth was, she was right. Weeks passed, then months. The house that once felt normal now felt like a reminder of everything I had ignored. Every room held memories. The couch where we used to watch movies, the kitchen where she used to cook dinner, the small balcony where we once spent hours talking about our future. And suddenly, I realized something terrible. Emma hadn't stopped loving me. She had simply stopped waiting for me to love her the way she deserved. About 8 months later, something unexpected happened. I received another letter. This time it had no return address. Inside was a short note. Andrew, I hope you're doing okay. I didn't leave because I stopped loving you. I left because I needed to remember what it felt like to love myself. Maybe one day our paths will cross again. But if they don't, I hope you remember something important. Never make someone feel invisible, because sometimes silence hurts more than betrayal. Emma. I never saw Emma again, but her words stayed with me. And sometimes, late at night, I still think about the life we could have had if I had only paid attention sooner. Sometimes relationships don't end because of betrayal. Sometimes they end because of silence, because of small moments ignored, because of love that slowly fades when it isn't cared for. So if someone in your life still asks how your day was, don't take that moment for granted, because one day that question might disappear forever, and by the time you realize what you lost, it may already be too late. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to Secret Affair Stories for more emotional relationship stories and life lessons about love, trust, and human connection. Because sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones that feel real.